After my family went bankrupt, arrangements were made for me to marry into the Chow family and form a marital alliance. The Chow family was a prestigious clan, deeply entrenched in both politics and business, with unshakable foundations. Logically, they wouldn't have spared a glance for a young lady like me, whose family had just gone bankrupt. Yet, ironically, the Chow family's second young master, Jason Chow, was a notoriously wild playboy. He was a well-known bad boy in their circles. He'd dated so many women they couldn't be counted. Because of this, among the eligible young ladies of good families, those who had the luxury of choosing their own partners, none would pick him. Mr. and Mrs. Chow had worried endlessly over Jason's marriage prospects. When they learned my family had gone bankrupt, they immediately sent matchmakers to our home. They told my parents that if I would agree to marry Jason Chow, they would readily pay off all our family's debts. Though my family was bankrupt, we were at least a clean family, untouched by scandal. And I, a graduate of a prestigious university, with a pleasant appearance and a gentle, amiable personality, perfectly fit their expectations for a daughter-in-law. My parents looked at me, their expressions full of awkwardness. Despite the attractive offer, they knew exactly what kind of person Jason Chow was. I, however, simply nodded gently. "It's fine. I can get married at any time." My reason for agreeing was simple. Rather than looking for a terrible man later, I might as well marry a terrible rich man now. Though I'd heard no shortage of stories about Jason Chow, the day we registered our marriage was actually the first time I met him. He wasn't like the playboy Casanova image I'd imagined. He wore a light blue cotton shirt, soft and breathable, with the top button undone, subtly revealing his collarbone beneath the fabric. Gold-rimmed glasses only enhanced his intellectual and refined aura. His entire demeanor was calm and distinguished. A person like this, was he truly the most notorious playboy in society? You truly can't judge a book by its cover. Jason Chow didn't seem to particularly care for me. Throughout the entire registration process, he showed no emotion, nor did he say a single word to me. But when he held the marriage certificate, he paused slightly, the hand holding the paper trembling almost imperceptibly. Perhaps even he hadn't expected it. A person like him, suddenly getting married just like that. We didn't hold a wedding. After getting the certificate, I moved straight into Jason Chow's villa. That very day, he handed me a card. "I'll transfer 10 million to this card every month. Spend it however you like." He added, "I don't have much else. The only thing I can give you is money." I calmly accepted it. After all, this was just a marriage of convenience. There was no true affection between us. He had made it clear from the start, and he was willing to spend money on me, so I had nothing to complain about. I nodded, then pulled my suitcase towards the living room. I'd heard that Jason Chow often brought women home. I thought, I should be a little discreet. Jason Chow's expression darkened slightly. He called out, "Hannah Jiang, where are you going?" I looked at him, a bit confused. "I heard that your villa gets a little lively in the evenings," I explained. "So I thought I'd sleep in the living room." Jason Chow seemed not to grasp my meaning. "Are you afraid of noise? I already told the housekeeper to install soundproofing in the master bedroom. You don't need to go to the living room." So I decided to be a little more direct. "No, it's not that," I clarified. "I heard you often bring girlfriends to the villa. I don't want to disturb you all." Jason's face suddenly flushed. "No, that's just... But seeing my probing gaze, he awkwardly nodded. "It's true. Sometimes I do bring girlfriends home." He sighed. "After all, you know what kind of person I am. A bad boy like me. Those kinds of social engagements are unavoidable. How about I sleep in the living room? You can stay in the main bedroom. Don't worry, I won't let them disturb you." I raised an eyebrow slightly. Them? Sure enough, Jason Chow was a true playboy. While I was still pondering this, Jason Chow had already pulled my suitcase into the master bedroom himself and began arranging everything quite naturally. He hung up each of my clothes on the rack. He laid out my makeup on the dressing table. He even folded my socks neatly, one by one. Watching his practiced movements, I couldn't help but marvel. In this day and age, do bad boys really go to such meticulous lengths? It wasn't until Jason Chow had finished arranging all my belongings that he seemed to realize what he'd just done. He froze in place. We stared at each other, momentarily unsure of what to say. I didn't expect you to be so thoughtful. Jason Chow's gaze shifted slightly, avoiding mine. No, don't misunderstand, he stammered. I understand, I cut in. You have a lot of dating experience, so you're used to taking care of people. I won't misunderstand. Jason Chow was stunned for a moment, then decisively nodded. Right, that's exactly it. He quickly explained. I've had many ex-girlfriends, so I'm used to taking care of them. Don't mind it. I waved my hand. It's fine. I don't mind. Everyone has a past after all. Jason Chow suddenly seemed to remember something, glancing at his watch. I have a meeting at 4. After the meeting, I'll be back at 5 to cook for you, okay? What do you want to eat? I could barely believe my ears. Wait, you're going to cook for me? Jason Chow was startled again, but this time his reaction was quicker. Sorry, I was just sending a message to a friend on my watch. I promised I'd cook for her this afternoon. You don't mind, do you? I replied, understandingly. It's fine, I understand. However, as I watched the Patek Philippe watch peek out from his cuff as he left, I found it a little strange. Since when could mechanical watches send messages? I had assumed Jason wouldn't come home tonight. After all, according to the rumors, he was known for frequenting bars and not returning home all night. But at 6 p.m., he appeared punctually at the front door. He didn't even use his key. Instead, he politely rang the doorbell and waited for me to open it. I opened the door, and Jason Chow seemed a little embarrassed. Is anyone home? Am I disturbing you? I hadn't expected Jason Chow to be so mindful of boundaries. He was implying that we could each live our own lives, and he wouldn't bother me. To be honest, I quite liked a man who knew his boundaries like that. So I couldn't resist the urge to tease him a little. Someone's here, and he's not wearing any clothes. Do you need something? Jason Chow's face turned pale. I'm so sorry, I truly didn't expect. He quickly added, I thought you might not have eaten anything, so I bought some takeout for you. If I had known you had a friend over, I would have brought an extra portion. Jason looked genuinely flustered, not like he was putting on an act. I decided not to tease him anymore. There's no one. I was just joking. With that, I swung the door wide open and invited him inside. It's fine. I don't mind at all. He said he didn't mind, but once inside, Jason Chow's eyes darted around the room. Only after he confirmed there was truly no one else did he seem to sigh in relief. He placed the takeout box on the table and opened it. I didn't know what you like to eat, so I just ordered a few random dishes. I looked at the homemade dishes in the box, perfectly balanced in color, aroma, and taste, and couldn't help but marvel. Did you make all these dishes? Jason Chow nodded, then immediately shook his head in denial. No, not really. I originally planned to cook for my friend, but she was worried I'd get tired, so she ended up doing everything herself. I picked up a piece and put it in my mouth, unable to stop myself from praising. It's truly delicious. Jason Chow's eyes lit up slightly. It's good? Then I'll have her cook for you every day from now on. I looked up, a hint of surprise in my eyes. Didn't you just say your friend cooked it? Jason Chow quickly corrected himself. Right, my friend made it. If you think it's good, I'll ask her to make it daily. She can even come directly to our house to cook. It'll be ready just in time for you to eat when you get home from work. I couldn't believe my ears. Wouldn't that be a bit inappropriate? Asking one's lover to cook for one's legal wife. It seemed a little strange, didn't it? But Jason Chow saw no problem with it. What's inappropriate about it? I pondered for a moment before I came up with a reason. Wouldn't that bother your friend too much? It's fine. You know I'm the notorious playboy type. I have my charms. Asking her to cook a meal for me, that's just a word from me. I fell silent. It seemed Jason Chow was quite proud of his playboy reputation. And so, in the days that followed, every time I returned home after work, I would find a meal cooked by Jason Chow's lover. Each time, the dishes on the table were still steaming hot. Yet, I had never once met Jason Chow's lover. One day, I finally couldn't help but ask him, Why doesn't your friend eat with us? She cooks so many dishes every day, and the two of us can't finish them all. Wouldn't it be more fun to eat together? Hearing this, Jason Chow's hand trembled slightly. My friend is a bit introverted. She doesn't like eating with others. Plus, she has no official standing, so she probably doesn't want to meet you. She just cooks and leaves. You see, she doesn't come to cook on weekends when you're home, right? Isn't that clear enough? I nodded vaguely, half understanding. It seemed what Jason Chow said made some sense. But then, by accident, I noticed a wound on his hand. What happened to you? Why is there a scratch on your hand? Jason Chow didn't pay it much mind. It's nothing. Just a slight scratch from being careless while cutting meat. I was a little startled. Didn't you say your friend was the one cooking? Jason Chow looked at the wound, hesitating. Well, sometimes she's busy, so I help her out. You wouldn't understand. That's our little game. Indeed, I truly didn't understand. My married life with Jason Chow couldn't be called happy, but at least it was peaceful and stable. It had been over 2 years since we got married. Almost every day I had a hot meal, and Jason Chow didn't bother me at all. Arguments never happened. However, ever since Jason Chow and I got married, quite a few people had ridiculed me. For example, right now, a group of people at a nearby table were eagerly gossiping about me. Hannah Jung was so picky back then, she wouldn't even spare a glance for all those young masters who pursued her. And in the end, she chose to marry someone like Jason Chow, the most notorious playboy in this circle. It's good enough that Jason Chow was willing to marry her. I heard the Zhang family was deeply in debt, and it was the Chow family who helped pay it off. Jason Chow lives such a wild life. Hannah is surely in for a hard time. My best friend, Lily Lamb, gently nudged my shoulder. Hearing them say that, aren't you going to tell them off? You're the young madam of the Chow family. Are you just going to let people talk about you like that? I took a sip of my fruit juice. Tell them off about what? Tell them my husband isn't a notorious playboy? And while I'm at it, brag that I'm living perfectly well? Would they believe it? Lily thought for a moment, then nodded. You're right. That makes sense. But you kept it so quiet. I was studying abroad for 3 years, and when I came back, you were already married. You chatted with me every day and didn't say a word. Do you even consider me a friend? I smiled. If you had known back then that I had to marry Jason Chow because my family went bankrupt, wouldn't you have flown back from abroad to stop me? It's not so bad now. Even if I'm plagued by gossip, at least I live in peace every day. Suddenly, Lily looked at me, a mischievous smile on her face. Tell me honestly, how's the marital intimacy? Do you think he's good? After all, he's a notorious playboy, so those things probably aren't bad, right? I shook my head very honestly. Lily's jaw dropped. What? Not good? Lily's voice was a bit loud, immediately causing many people to turn and look at us. I quickly pressed her hand down. Keep your voice down. So many people are looking. Lily lowered her voice but still looked at me in shock. Is it really that he's not capable? I shook my head. No, it's that he and I have never even tried. Upon hearing this, Lily was even more astonished. This is even harder to believe than him not being capable. He's a genuine playboy, yet he's indifferent to a beauty like you? As she said this, even I felt confused. Although it was an arranged marriage, we were still officially husband and wife. I had mentally prepared myself for the post-marriage arrangements, but Jason Chow slept in the living room every day and had never once stepped into the master bedroom. Outside, rumors claimed he brought women home daily. Yet all this time, I hadn't even seen a single other woman in the house, other than that lover who steadily cooked for us on weekdays. Just as I was thinking, Lily, who was scrolling on her phone, suddenly let out a cry. I asked in confusion, "Lily, what's wrong? What happened?" Lily looked up at me, her expression a little strange. "Hannah, tell me, honestly, why didn't Jason Chow come with you today? Do you know what he's doing?" Today was a well-known gathering in our circle, and almost no one was absent. But when we were leaving the house, Jason Chow suddenly said he had an urgent meeting. That's why I came alone. I replied truthfully. He said he had an urgent meeting. Lily's expression grew even more grim. "Why?" Lily sighed, saying resignedly, "Look at the latest top entertainment news." I opened my phone. The prominent headline in the entertainment news section was, "Had Chow family scion caught with lover at bar." I let out a sigh of relief. I thought it was something serious. After all, Jason Chow still transferred $10 million to me every month, and even had his lover cook for me. If he didn't do anything suspicious, I'd actually feel uneasy. Now it's good. I can finally rest easy a little. Lily saw my silence and asked with some concern, "Hannah, are you all right?" "Honestly, Jason Chow is just too much. Married and still so wild, and he chose this exact occasion. He's practically trying to prove to the world he's a playboy, which is nothing short of a slap in your face in front of everyone in our circle." Lily was indignant on my behalf, but I just waved my hand dismissively. "It's fine. Jason Chow was always a playboy anyway. I was mentally prepared before we got married." But the next second, my phone vibrated. I picked it up and looked. It was a message from Jason Chow. "Hannah, the banquet must be almost over, right? I know you don't like Western food, so I asked my friend to make some dishes you like." The message also included an attached photo, all my favorite dishes. I froze. Wasn't Jason Chow supposed to be on a date with his mistress at a bar? I reopened the article and read it more carefully. I found that the person photographed indeed bore a slight resemblance to Jason Chow, but their face was completely obscured. Lily saw me staring blankly at my phone and assumed that while I claimed to be fine, I was secretly in agony. She immediately pulled me to my feet. "Who cares about Jason Chow? So what if his family has money? Mine has plenty too. Come on, let's go home, pack your things and move in with me." I walked behind Lily, trying to explain gently. "Lily, it's not like that. It might be a misunderstanding." But Lily was furious at that moment and completely disregarded my words. She drove me straight home without another word. Standing at the door, I still tried to explain one more time. "Lily, this really might be a misunderstanding." Lily glared at me. "Hannah, you're still defending him even now? Even though our Lam family isn't as wealthy as his Chow family as your best friend? I can't just stand by and watch you be wronged. Now open the door, pack your things, and come home with me." I had no choice but to bite the bullet and open the door. Lily pushed the door open and stepped in unceremoniously. "That bastard Jason Chow probably isn't home at this hour, right?" But a second later, Jason Chow emerged, drawn by the sound. For a moment, both of them froze, staring at each other. Lily was slightly stunned. "Why are you home? Shouldn't a playboy like you be at a bar right now?" Hearing this, Jason Chow's expression became somewhat awkward, and he grabbed his coat. "I just came back to grab a few things. I'm leaving right away." With that, he turned and walked out the door. After Jason Chow left, Lily shook her head. "I thought I might have misunderstood him, but it turns out he truly hasn't changed." But as soon as she turned around, she saw the dining table laden with delicious dishes. 20 minutes later, Lily was seated properly at the table, eating non-stop. "Did Jason Chow cook this? I can't believe he's such a good chef." I thought for a moment, then finally decided to tell the truth. "He didn't cook it. His mistress did. She comes every day to cook for us, then leaves right away." Clatter went the chopsticks in Lily's hand as they fell to the floor. Her eyes widened in shock. "You've got to be kidding me, Hannah. You two are playing that kind of game? A mistress cooking for the wife? This is the first time I've ever heard of such a thing." My expression became a little awkward. I didn't know how to explain it to Lily. "Don't tell me. You're being dragged into some kind of twisted game between the two of them?" I was dumbfounded. I had never thought of it that way before. Tisk, a true bad boy, his schemes are on another level. Lily's casual remark made me start to think. In the days that followed, I unconsciously began to observe Jason Chow's every action. I didn't care if he went out chasing women, but I also didn't want to become a prop for him and his mistress to openly carry on their affair. I noticed that after every meal, Jason Chow would quickly clear the dishes, as if he was afraid I'd get to them first. I offered to help, but he immediately refused. He wouldn't even let me touch the rim of a bowl, lifting each one like a precious artifact before carrying it to the kitchen. Many times, I tried to take advantage of him washing dishes to quickly tidy up the room. But at the slightest sound, Jason Chow would dart out like lightning and snatch the mop from my hand. "Go rest in the room. I'll take care of all the housework." I felt a little deflated. Jason Chow was obsessed with cleanliness. He didn't like outsiders in the house. He didn't even hire a housekeeper. Before, I'd worried that once we lived together, the housework would be overwhelming. But now I realized I'd overthought it. Jason Chow seemed to not want me to touch anything in the house, period. Could he really hate me that much? But I also worried it was just my subjective feeling. So I sought out Lily to ask her advice. "Lily, tell me, why would a germaphobe be willing to let someone else use their kitchen but not allow another person to touch the cleaning?" Lily answered without a second thought. "Do you even need to ask? A germaphobe has an even stronger sense of possessiveness. Being willing to let someone else use their kitchen means they trust that person deeply, and not wanting anyone to help with the cleaning means they despise that person, not wanting them to touch their belongings." After hearing this, I silently bowed my head. So it wasn't just my imagination. Jason Chow truly hated me. He hated me so much that he'd rather do all the housework himself than let me touch anything. Seeing me lower my head and remain silent, Lily finally realized something. "The person you're talking about, is it you?" That evening, I decided to try Lily's method. After my bath, I changed into a thin silk nightgown and lay back on the living room sofa. Jason Chow was mopping the floor. Facing me, dressed so scantily, he showed absolutely no reaction. Suddenly, he bent down. I thought he was going to kiss me. But to my surprise, he simply reached for the remote control nearby. "Hannah, the air conditioning in the living room is too cold. You're barely dressed. Let me turn up the temperature a bit." I gritted my teeth, unsure how to feel. While he was turned away, I left the divorce papers I had prepared on the sofa, then quietly got up and returned to my room. I had thought it through carefully. If he truly hated me that much, then it was better for me to let go and set him free. It would also free myself. What was the point of clinging on when I knew he didn't like me? This silent aversion was more painful than outright hatred. I waited for Jason Chow in the room, but I waited, and there wasn't a single sound. I went out to the living room and found the divorce papers still lying untouched on the sofa. I guessed Jason Chow probably hadn't seen them yet, so I picked up the divorce papers and headed towards the study. But just as I reached the door, I heard his choked voice. "Brian, guess what I just saw? Divorce papers. She wants to divorce me. 3 years? I've taken care of her for 3 whole years. I transfer her $10 million every month, cook for her every single day, and still, I can't win her heart." The person Jason Chow was talking about? Was it me? A second later, the furious voice of his close friend rang out. "Damn it! I told you back then not to put on such a show. You're her husband. Why did you have to cultivate that bad boy image?" I was stunned. Could it be? Jason Chow's playboy bad boy image? Was it all an act? I stood at the door, listening to Jason Chow still lamenting. "Brian, you're experienced in matters of the heart. Teach me." The person on the other end seemed to laugh in exasperation. "Oh, come on! Who has more experience than you? You're the most notorious bad boy in this entire circle. Jason Chow, I've told you before, if something isn't meant to be, don't force it." The two of them went back and forth, chatting animatedly. I was so captivated listening that I didn't even think to leave. Suddenly the lock clattered. Before I could react, Jason Chow, who had just stepped out of the room, and I met face to face at the door. His eyes were full of wariness. "Hannah, when did you get here?" I was slightly flustered, but still managed to reply calmly, "Just now." As I spoke, I subtly raised the divorce papers in my hand. "There's something I need to tell you." Jason Chow's gaze swept over the divorce papers, his expression shifting slightly, but he quickly composed himself, pretending nothing was amiss. "I'm a little busy right now. We can talk in a few days." Busy? But I'd just clearly overheard him. He was about to ask his best friend for dating advice. Even so, I didn't expose his lie. I simply waved my hand dismissively. "It's nothing. Just go about your work." I returned to my room, pressing my ear to the door to listen to what was happening outside. Jason Chow's voice rang out, sounding rather excited. Brian B., you're absolutely right. Just now I gave her a cold face and told her I was busy, and sure enough, she didn't dare bring up the divorce anymore. Me. After Jason Chow left, I sat alone on the bed, quietly reflecting on the 3 years I'd lived with him. Every day, he would leave for work at 8 in the morning. On weekdays, he always came home earlier than me and waited for me at the dining table. He said his friend cooked the meals, but every time I sat next to him, I'd smell cooking oil on him. After eating, Jason Chow always cleaned everything up. Around 9 in the evening, he would return to his room. Rumors outside claimed that Jason Chow loved going to bars every night, but in reality, he only stayed in his study or his private room in the evenings. He went out even less often than I did. How could someone like that possibly have the time to be a bad boy? Could it be Jason Chow wasn't actually a bad boy? Moreover, looking at his reaction, it seemed he might even have some feelings for me. For some reason, the corners of my lips unconsciously curved upwards. I picked up my phone and called Lily Lamb. Almost immediately, she picked up. Lily, I have earth-shattering news to tell you. Hannah, I also have something to tell you. You go first. No, you go first. Lily cleared her throat. All right, I'll go first then. Jason Chow's white moonlight is back. I heard she's returned this time to marry him. Jason Chow has secretly loved her for so many years. He definitely won't miss this chance. What a coincidence. You never liked Jason Chow anyway, so this is perfect. His white moonlight is back to take him away, Hannah. You're finally free from your misery, free from that bad boy. In that instant, the smile on my lips froze. Oh, right, Hannah. What was it you were going to tell me? I stammered. Nothing. I remembered wrong. There's nothing to tell. Lily didn't detect the disappointment in my voice, still speaking cheerfully from the other end of the line. You're so shocked by this good news you're speechless, aren't you? Me too. That's why I called you as soon as I heard. I can't believe it. Even Jason Chow, the #1 bad boy, has someone who wants him. She doesn't think that just because he's had fewer scandals lately, he's actually mended his ways, does she? Me. Lily, please stop cursing. Lily declared this was big news, something we absolutely had to celebrate. So she rushed to my place, dragged me out, and pulled me straight to a bar. Half an hour later, I sat in the noisy, bustling bar, feeling a little flustered and anxious. From childhood until now, this was my first time stepping foot in a bar. But Lily sat beside me, her expression completely calm, happily clinking glasses with the bar guys next to her. I tugged lightly on her sleeve. Lily, this is my first time at a bar, and I'm a little scared. Maybe I should just go home first? Lily immediately pressed me back down onto the seat. Relax. Don't you think I know how timid you are? Today, it's all handsome guys here, tall and fresh-faced too, you know. As she spoke, she winked at me. At that moment, a young man at the bar, with a cute, puppy-like appearance, raised his glass towards me. Is this your first time, miss? It's all right. We don't come often either. It's just a bit of drinking, chatting, and making friends. I held the glass of wine in my hand, hesitating slightly. Lily pulled my hand, clinking my glass against the young man's. Hannah, be brave. Just think, your husband, that bad boy, has been to places like this countless times. You come here and you don't even dare to drink one glass? Hearing Lily's words, I thought, she had a point, so I clinked glasses and downed the entire drink. But I forgot one thing. My alcohol tolerance was extremely low. After just one glass, I started to feel dizzy, and began to act crazy from drunkenness. According to Lily's account, after drinking, I pulled her close, crying and whining. I kept demanding that she tell me about Jason Chow and his white moonlight. Lily was a little flustered. Hannah, what's wrong with you? Are you drunk? No, I'm not drunk. Hurry up and tell me about Jason Chow and his white moonlight. Lily was at a loss, unsure what to do. I don't know much about them. I've only heard street rumors. I sprawled out on the sofa, my voice slurred. Tell me everything you know. I need to know it all. I can't let myself be like an idiot, not knowing anything. Lily threw up her hands in resignation, trying to recall everything she could to tell me. Jason Chow's white moonlight is named Chen Loyao. She was his childhood neighbor, and they were childhood sweethearts. I heard Jason Chow secretly loved her for many years. He wasn't a bad boy before. It was only after Chen Loyao went abroad that he started drinking, going to bars, and generally living a wild life. Everyone says he only turned out this way because his white moonlight abandoned him. Oh, and Chen Loyao has a very mysterious background. We still haven't been able to dig up anything about her family. So that's how it was. So he only became a bad boy because of another girl. Jason Chow is really a scumbag. Just as I yelled out, cursing Jason Chow, his face suddenly loomed large right before my eyes. He looked wronged. "Hannah, why are you cursing me?" I immediately reached out and pinched his cheek. "Because you lied to me. You're a cheat." I didn't even know how long I kept pinching. Until I was so tired I just passed out. The next morning, I woke up in my own bed at home. Reflexively, I looked down at myself. I was wearing nothing at all. Beside me was Jason Chow, shirtless, sound asleep. He lazily opened his eyes and reached out to pull me into a hug. "Why are you up so early? You were so tired last night. Sleep a little more." "What do you want to eat? I'll get up and make breakfast for you." I froze. "Jason Chow, why are we sleeping together? What happened last night?" Jason Chow chuckled softly. "We're husband and wife. What's wrong with sleeping together? Besides, last night you..." My heart trembled slightly. What did I do last night? A teasing smile appeared on Jason Chow's face. "Last night, you saw me at the bar, then you lunged at me, pinched my face, and demanded I take you home. Then, once we got home, you just stripped off my clothes, all while muttering, 'Let me show you how amazing I am.'" I quickly covered his mouth. "Enough, enough! You don't need to say any more," I remembered. I remembered everything. I closed my eyes in despair. I swore for the rest of my life I would never step foot in a bar again. But Jason Chow wasn't about to let me off that easily. At breakfast, he pushed a plate of scrambled eggs towards me. "Hannah, see if my scrambled eggs today are amazing or not." My face flushed crimson. He even had a smug, gloating expression. He started it first, so he shouldn't blame me for responding in kind. And so, I bluntly repeated the words he had once said. 3 whole years. I've been taking care of her for 3 years. Giving her $10 million a month, cooking for her every single day, and still, I couldn't move her. Jason Chow, I never knew you were such an actor. Honestly, an Oscar statuette would be more fitting for you. Your own friend even told you, don't try to force your way into a space that isn't yours. Look at yourself, apron on, frying pan in hand. You're practically a house husband. Bad boy. What a joke. To my surprise, the words had barely left my lips when Jason Chow truly panicked. "Hannah, you heard all that? You know everything?" Seeing his expression, I became even more convinced my suspicion was correct. He really did intentionally fake being a bad boy for his white moonlight. And now, he's got a guilty conscience. "It's fine. We're only in a marriage of convenience after all. It's perfectly normal for you not to like me. I don't mind at all. Hannah, if you knew what I was truly like, you wouldn't like me anymore, right?" We spoke at the same time, then simultaneously gaped at each other as we clearly heard what the other had said. "What? Who said I don't like you? What? Why would you say that if I knew the real you, I wouldn't like you anymore?" Jason Chow lowered his head, his voice significantly softer. "Didn't you once say, you don't like honest, dry people?" I was puzzled. When did I ever say that? Jason Chow made me recall an old memory. I never knew that in high school, Jason Chow and I had attended the same school. Back then, Lily Lam and I were quite well known at school. Whenever there was an event, the teachers would make us go on stage to be MCs. That's why we supposedly had a whole bunch of male fans. Of course, that was according to Jason Chow's account. I tried to recall my high school memories, but I couldn't find anything particularly remarkable about Lily Lam and me. All I remembered was how miserable it was every time we were dragged to be MCs, with teachers treating us like free labor. As for male fans, they were just a bunch of little boys who only knew how to secretly send love letters. Jason Chow shot me a resentful glare. I was one of those little boys who sent you love letters back then. I burst out laughing. Really? Jason Chow nodded. Really. Back then, after sending the letter, I even deliberately lingered for a while. Then I heard you tell your friend that you didn't like honest, dry people, that you preferred someone with a charismatic allure for the opposite sex. At that time, weren't you describing me? I tried to remember. Finally, I vaguely recalled that something like that did happen, but I couldn't help but laugh. Jason Chow looked even more aggrieved. You remember now, don't you? And you're still laughing. Do you know, it utterly devastated me back then. I laughed even harder. Jason Chow, do you know how many dozens of letters Lily and I received every day? We barely even had time to look at the faces of the senders, let alone analyze what kind of people they were behind their backs. But now that you mention honest and dry and charismatic allure for the opposite sex, I remember. That was when Lily and I were obsessed with an anime and discussing the male lead in it. This time, it was Jason Chow's turn to blush. So that's what happened. I looked at him intently. Don't tell me you've been fixated on a casual remark from all those years ago until now? Even creating this bad boy persona just to fit that ideal? Jason Chow said nothing, tacitly admitting it. After a moment, he finally raised his head, his voice cautious. So, Hannah, do you like someone like me? I couldn't resist teasing him. What kind? A bad boy? I don't like bad boys, you know. He quickly shook his head. No, not a bad boy. Hannah, I'm a really good guy. All those news reports? I paid paparazzi to publish them. I don't like bars, and I've never brought a girl home. I smiled, gently ruffling his hair. I'd been living with him for 3 years. Of course, I knew all of that. Lily Lamb was incredibly astonished when she learned about Jason Chow and me. No way, Hannah. Are you two playing the marry first, love later game? I never would have thought Jason Chow was such a devoted person. But then she frowned. By the way, have you asked Jason Chow about his white moonlight, Lucky? I heard she just returned to the country these past few days, and tonight she's even having dinner with Jason Chow's parents. Did Jason Chow tell you about this? After hearing this, I reflexively opened my phone to check. Sure enough, Jason Chow had messaged me. He said he had to have dinner with his parents tonight, but he didn't mention who else would be there. I began to feel suspicious. Just what was the relationship between Jason Chow and Lucky? That evening, when Jason Chow returned, I thought it over and finally asked, Who did you have dinner with today? Jason Chow replied without a second thought, My parents, of course. I already told you, didn't I? Jason Chow wasn't telling the truth. For a moment, I didn't know how to react. Seeing my silence, Jason Chow hurriedly came closer. Hannah, don't be angry. I didn't intentionally not bring you along. Today, my parents also invited my older brother Daniel to discuss the company's share division. Daniel and I never get along. We're bound to argue, and I didn't want you to be put in an awkward situation. If you want to have dinner with my parents, I'll treat everyone to a makeup dinner this weekend, okay? Jason Chow's voice was soft and gentle. Although I was initially upset, I calmed down somewhat, but I still couldn't resist pressing him. Then why was Lucky at that dinner? Everyone says she's your white moonlight. This time, it was Jason Chow's turn to be dumbfounded. Who spread such ridiculous rumors? Half an hour later, I arrived at Mr. and Mrs. Chow's house and saw Lucky. I froze, staring at the adorable golden retriever in front of me. Jason Chow, your dog's name, is Lucky? The housekeeper beside me smiled and explained, Young madam, this golden retriever belonged to the former neighbors. They had no children, so they treated her like their own child and named her Lucky. Later, there was an accident and both passed away. Young master then brought her home to raise. No wonder Lily couldn't find any information on Lucky, no matter how hard she searched. How could an adorable dog have a background to trace? Jason Chow looked at my dumbfounded expression, as if he couldn't hold back his laughter. Hannah, from now on, don't listen to such ridiculous rumors anymore. Knowing I was in the wrong, I could only nod weakly. At this moment, Jason Chow leaned close to my ear and whispered softly, Since you've wronged me so much, shouldn't you make it up to me somehow? At that moment, I innocently nodded, not knowing that. An endlessly long night awaited me. The next morning when I woke up, my entire body was sore and exhausted. I opened my phone and saw a message from Lily Lamb. "So, how'd it go? Did you get to the bottom of it?" Before I could even reply, Jason Chow snatched my phone away. "You still have the energy to look at your phone? That proves I haven't tried hard enough yet." With that, Jason Chow lifted me into his arms, beginning a new round of torment. End.